You're watching Queen City Collaborative Rebel Radio. I'm your host and CEO, Gwendolyn Bork. Let's not waste any time and get right down to it. Hello, everybody. I am Gwendolyn Bork, the CEO and Impact Strategist of Queen City Collaborative. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Julianna, and she's been doing something really amazing in our local community here in Western New York. So, Julianna, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So, it is so crazy how, during this whole crisis, there have been just so many glimmers of hope and so many amazing people doing awesome things. And that is really the goal of this podcast, and I'm going to be premiering, our interview today as a way to show everybody moving forward. There may be crisis and there may be some pain and heartache right now with some of our families, but there are amazing people out there, good people out there that are trying to help lighten the load, carry each other's burdens. And these are the people that I will be highlighting moving forward throughout this entire next couple months. However many people want to share their stories and continuously step up to help our people will be the interviews that I will be launching every single Wednesday. So I'm really excited that you're my first person that I can highlight because you have a deadline to meet, and we're going to get into that. And so again, thank you for joining us. So Julianna, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how old are you? Where did you graduate? Where do you live? Like, and what were you doing ultimately in the moment of as this crisis started to escalate right before St. Patty's Day?
Yeah. So I'm Julianna. I'm 22 years old and I'm from West Seneca. I graduated from West Seneca West High School, and I am anticipating some form of graduation this coming year. So I was in the middle of my student teaching with the Fredonia Hamburg program. So I will be graduating from SUNY Fredonia, but I was in the middle of my student teaching when all of this kind of happened, and it got cut short. Unfortunately, I can't finish that out, but I was kind of looking for a way to make up for that lost time and do something as a way that kind of connected me still to what I was doing before, which is giving back to school communities. So yeah, I mean, just now, I guess I'm trying to find this as an initiative to kind of bring some hope into all this craziness that is happening.
So 716 Rainbow Hunt
Mhm.
is something that's taken off. Explain, okay, so you can't student teach, or graduation's put off. It's like, oh, what do I do? Just sit around and do nothing? Of course not, because Juliana is a leader. So where did 716 Rainbow Hunt come from? I didn't even know really anything about it until I got connected with you. Give us a little background on what it is, first of all, and then secondly, why, how it started and how it got to this next level.
So the 716 Rainbow Hunt is a Facebook group on Facebook, and my sister-in-law Nicole Ocharzak, she started it. And at first, it was kind of just a small private group of a few of us, like me and my few sisters and a couple of close family friends. The Rainbow Hunt was kind of something that was done in other big cities before it came to Buffalo, or at least before my sister-in-law started it. So when she did this, she added us all to this little group, and it turned into, oh, take a picture of a rainbow that you see while you're driving or while you're on your walk with your kids or with your family. And, we'll post it to this little website that we can see. And just, the rainbow was supposed to initiate like hope across neighborhoods in Buffalo. And whether it was chalked on a sidewalk or painted in a window or put up on a picture in a window, anything worked. So you could take a picture of whatever and post it to this little site. And, when I saw that I was invited to it, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I was, picking, oh, this person might want to be in on this, oh, and this person. So I kept adding people. And then eventually those people, it was kind of like this domino effect. It just grew. So it was like getting bigger and bigger. And eventually my sister-in-law was like, I think we need to make this public. So right now we're at a little over 1,300 people on this Facebook group. And you see posts almost daily of, children making creations for their windows at home, or rainbow chalk drawings on their sidewalks. There's a lot of different cool things that people are doing. I can see people are using that Cricut machine, and they're like making little shapes. I saw someone do buffaloes and make a rainbow buffalo, and it was really cool. So that got me thinking. Once that happened, I saw everyone else's creations. I've always been into art, and I've always loved drawing and painting and whatnot. And so I ordered chalk window paint type stuff off of Amazon. And the day they came in, I spent like 4 hours, and I created this like door design on my parents' front door at my home. And from there, I was getting comments, you should really make this into a t-shirt. And this is really awesome. If you make a t-shirt with this, you could donate all the proceeds somewhere. And so that's kind of how, that got my wheels kind of turning, which has been it's been a fun experience so far.
So yes, let's pause right there because I love our history as Buffalo, New York. I love we were called the City of Light. We're one of the first places with electricity. We have such an amazing history. And you incorporated, some of the Buffalo flag into your design, and actually Queen City Collaborative for my logo. I did that as well. So when
Yeah,
I
I
saw
see
your design, right, I was like, oh, I know what that is. So let me show our audience your design, and then you can explain the process. All right.
sure.
So let's
Yeah.
go to that. Here we go. All right. Can you see it, Juliana?
Yes, I can.
All right. So give us some tidbits. What's going on here?
Okay, so obviously the buffalo and the heart in the middle, but yeah, those the lightning bolts and the stars come, like as you said, right from the buffalo flag, which I love the buffalo flag. I think it's super cool. I mean, me and my brother both are kind of like geeks about buffalo too. We love all things buffalo history and all that. So, yeah, I wanted to incorporate some of that, and I'm glad that you picked up on that because I didn't think many people would. But yeah, just alternating with the rainbow colors. Obviously, because it's the rainbow hunt, I wanted it to be as colorful as possible. So yeah, just incorporating everything that I could, as far as being colorful, being from Buffalo. The Buffalo Strong is such a, notorious Buffalo saying, I feel. So I felt like I had to include that. But even just giving credit to my sister-in-law for creating the group. And, this is exactly, I mean, the purpose initially was for me to occupy an afternoon and just post this on the Facebook page just for fun. So, and that's exactly what I did. And that was my intention all along. I never thought it would get this much attention, which is cool. And even on the sides too, the mosaic. I mean, a lot of kids you see are doing that on their sidewalks with chalk. You just take the painter's tape and, make little sections and whatnot. So I incorporated that too. So it was really fun.
I love it. I mean, I guess as a brander, brand development, marketer, like somebody who just has a eye for design. I was like, what? I was one of the first ones to to buy your stuff. And we're gonna get into how it turned into giving back to the community. But I mean, just like the lightning bolts, resembling, one of the original 13 colonies, the stars doing the same thing for us being a city of light, like, and you going from like even red to purple for those that, are even in like the holistic healing and energy, like those are even like the colors, those are the spectrums of your chakras, like just
Yeah.
the way that you went from like red to purple. I'm like, what? This girl's got it going on. So I
Thanks.
love it. I am so glad that you're doing something with your artwork. And again, this is just a glimpse into what people can get involved in and help give back to their community moving forward. So, what's next then? So, you have this, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. You should make a t shirt out of it. So, what happened next?
So from there, I thought, that's a really cool idea. I'd love to make a t-shirt. And I've designed a couple of t-shirts before. I mean, in high school, I won a couple contests for making homecoming t-shirts and stuff like that. So I love doing things like that. But when I thought about it, I wondered, how could I make a t-shirt? How could I mass produce one? And I thought, that Cricut machine that you can buy, and you can basically, you can screen print something yourself, And I thought about it, but it would be way too time consuming. And for it to be consistent from shirt to shirt, I was concerned about that too. So, and then I didn't know how big this could get. So I didn't know if I'd be biting off more than I can chew. And the one day, I mean, a light bulb kind of went off in my father's head. He's like, I know exactly somebody who would screen print these for you. If you made a design, we could talk to him and see if he'd be willing to partner with you and do this. So sure enough, I created, the design that I have now for the t-shirts. And I got in contact with our family friend, and he was like, I love this. He's a former Western New Yorker. He came from Hamburg, and now he lives in Georgia. So he has his own business in Georgia right now, but he's like, I think this is great. And then it was a matter of, okay, if I make this t-shirt, where is this money going to go? And I thought of a lot of different things, but then the one thing that kind of kept really coming up in conversation was, how schools and school communities are struggling because of this, because, there's several districts that have several hundred meals being brought to the doorsteps of these homes every single day. And the bus routes are the same. There's a bus driver that's taking their usual bus route, and instead of dropping off kids back home, they're dropping off meals for the day. So in my connection to being a student teacher and seeing what I saw in some of the school districts, as well as some of the connections I have with teachers right now, I heard and saw a lot of, worry for students and their families. So from there, I thought, it'd be really cool if there was something I could do to give this money back.
And you know what? I'm sorry to pause you, but it's,
Sure.
you bring up such an amazing point that you saw their concern, for their students, for the families of their students.
Mhm.
Like, I have two teenage boys, and I don't think not all students at any level ultimately always recognize that there's a lot of teachers that care, a lot of them. And these teachers that do care could change that student's life forever. Just one small act of appreciation or acknowledgement of their gifts or their purpose. And the fact that this was shared with you, that you saw that, to me just shows again, there are amazing teachers out there that love their students, that care about those families, and we should not forget about that. And these teachers are working on the front lines right now, prepping these meals for these kids, and they're trying to stay engaged with their students. So hats off to the teachers. Side note right there, hats off to you guys. You are on the front lines. We know that, and we thank you so much for stepping into this role that you never probably knew you were ever going to have to take, and are involving your families and trying to keep everything afloat. So thank you so much. And sorry, go ahead, Julianna.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing, that wasn't the first thought that I jumped to in the middle of all this. It was, just the craziness. Your head was running a mile a minute in all different directions. But a lot of the teachers I worked with showed real concern for students. How are these families going to get these meals? Because at every school there are free and reduced lunch lists, and those children depend sometimes on the meals that they get from school. So if there was something that I could do to just push it a little bit further and alleviate some of that worry for students, because no child, no matter what age, no person for that matter, should have to deal with the worry of where they're going to get their food. So, and upon thinking of, how could I give money to families directly, and how would I decide, if they could even accept monetary donations, which I know that a lot of schools can't. It's kind of touchy whether or not they can accept, money. So I had a family friend who works in one of the school districts help me out and say, it'd be a really good idea if you use the money to get gift cards for grocery stores. And that I just launched that. I said, that's perfect. So we went, and that was my, driving force. These are going to be gift cards, and at the discretion of every school district, these gift cards will then be passed out to the families that, I'll have the social workers, helping out with where these can be donated to. So that was my driving force. Yeah.
That's amazing. Again, it's amazing how people just kind of come right in, right when you need it, to like get you to the next step, like
Thank
your
you.
dad and his
Yeah.
friend down in Georgia, and then these conversations that helped guide you, and you took that leap of faith and you took that step, and step by step, it's like the path was forming in front of you, which you know it just, I think to whoever's watching, it goes to show that if you take that first step, sometimes that's all you need to do. You
Right.
don't always need to know what where the end goal is, and it'll formulate as it goes. But if you kind of take that step of faith, this is a prime example of how it will all come together for the good. So fast forward, you're like, okay, so I was student teaching in, I think you said Hamburg, right?
Yes, in Hamburg.
How did you figure out, what school districts were you were going to help?
I really just took into my own personal experience. I knew I wanted to help out Hamburg because I had just done my student teaching there, and it was supposed to be a full year of student teaching. But like I said before, it was cut short. And that was where I got a lot of I was able to see and interact with so many teachers and hear so much feedback from teachers where I knew that Hamburg could totally benefit from this. And then West Seneca, I grew up in West Seneca. I went through West Seneca West middle and high school. And then I chose Orchard Park because I have 8 nieces and nephews that are they're all really little, but they're all scattered throughout the district of Orchard Park. And it's cool because eventually they'll kind of come together in middle school and high school and be all in the same grade. But, and then I decided on Depew because my sister is the resiliency counselor at Depew Middle School and High School. So she was huge in advocating for Depew all from the get-go. She said, you really need to include Depew. They'd love to jump on board. And I've been really fortunate because every district I knew I wanted to reach out to them and their superintendents, and everyone has been so great about getting back to me, and they've all been super interested in this, which that made things so much more exciting for me, because then I knew from there that was my go ahead, that this was going to work and this was going to happen, which is cool. So yeah.
That's I am just so floored, as hard as this could be on families. And I was, kind of talking about this a little bit with you before we started recording, but I'm a financial advisor. I'm a single mom. That's my business. And that is that's a business that has a lot of uncertainty right now too, right? But then I'm a president of Focus, the local addiction prevention coalition for Lancaster Depew. And one of the people I wanted to really get to know and see how he was handling and pivoting the crisis was the superintendent of Depew Schools, Dr. Raby. And I was like, do I reach out to him? Do I not? He's probably slammed. And I'm sure at some point, and actually, so here I go, I reach out to him, and I had this opportunity to interview him, and he'll be, being launched this Friday for our podcast on Focus. But he was the one who told me about you,
Yeah.
and he not only made time, but he told me about you. So I'm sure at the same token, you were probably like, do these school districts? They're probably swamped right now. Do they even have time to talk to me? So how did it make you feel to know that you're reaching out and they're like, oh yeah, I'm down? Like, how did that feel as far as confirmation for you?
It was awesome. I mean, just like you said, it was a leap of faith for you to even have to reach out to people and say, like, do you have the time for this? I don't want to bother you. Like, are you so busy that you can't do this? But it's so true, because I mean, I thought the same thing, and it seemed like when I was reaching out to these districts was when, like, the shift in at-home learning was starting to take place. So things were starting to transition more to online. All of the districts were thinking of different ways to innovate and change how at-home learning looked from home to home. And it was just this huge transition that I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to hear from these people. I feel so bad. I don't want to reach out to them for that reason. But I kind of knew that I had to. And, how I worded my message was very, I wanted to make sure that I made it known that I understand that you're busy, but in the off chance that you have the time to see this, this is what I'm working on. And I'd love for you guys to hop on board if you're willing. So when they did finally all reach out and I was able to get that approval, I mean, it was so cool. It was like, because, at the heart of this, they understand, the need for something like this, and they understand the struggles that their school community is facing. So for them to be like, yeah, we love this, we're in, that was really gratifying for me, because I didn't think I'd get to this point. And it was only like a 3-week long journey, up to this point, but it's been so awesome just to see everyone kind of pull together and achieve one common goal. So
So I am a little bit older than you know, but that's one thing I've seen in our community over and over and over again. I'm born and raised in Buffalo, and they're like, "Oh, Buffalo, you guys get snowed in," and yeah, we get some storms here and there. But I think the way that the resiliency and when we come together during those snowstorms and making sure people get food, or we're digging people out of their homes and helping our senior population, like that is
Mhm.
just one piece of, I think, the heart of who we are. The
Right.
other main piece is like that we spread that spirit, I would
Mhm.
say, to everything that we do, and we really do have one of the most generous cities in all of America, and it's been known that we are the one of the most philanthropic cities across America. So it,
Right.
it is true. We care about each other. We love each other. Everybody knows each other to some degree. They say it's like the smallest, biggest city, right? Next
Yeah,
door.
exactly. Exactly.
So, and it was one little idea, one little, some little concept that came to mind that all of a sudden just got way out of control. So
Yeah.
now you've got this ability
Mhm.
for people to order these t-shirts. It's a t-shirt. You got long sleeve shirts. It's got the main buffalo with the lightning bolts and the little hashtag 716 rainbow hunt on it. Now, when did you start taking orders for that? Like, when was that?
That was Thursday night. I launched it live at 11 p.m. So late, Thursday night.
And how many orders would you say approximately you have for shirts?
Um, I believe we are at about 200 t-shirt orders up to this point. I haven't checked my form yet today, but yeah, I would say we're in and around 200 t-shirts.
All right. So
Mhm.
I know I ordered a couple, and I have boys. I'm like, guys, would you wear like a rainbow shirt? They're like, heck yeah, mom.
Oh,
So I know my teenage boys, they're gonna represent.
yeah,
So
awesome.
what's your goal? Let's set a goal. I know you're probably happy with anything at this point because it was all
Right.
surprise, but we know that, the reason why I'm premiering you first on my podcast is because you have a deadline, which is next Thursday, May 7th. And what time was that deadline?
I will take it all the way up to the end of day on May 7th. So
Okay.
11:59 p.m. on May 7th, I'll take it.
All right. So end of the actual day. So 11:59 on Thursday, May 7th is when you'll cut off these orders. But what is our goal? What's our target? Do we have a target? Because I will tell you, some of the people that will probably watch this podcast are gonna be like, "Oh, we're gonna get that number." They're competitive. I'm a board member at NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners. We love giving back. We did a hashtag Buffalo Strong video for Channel 7 that we all had our t-shirts on
Oh,
to
awesome.
to like instigate,
Mhm.
contest amongst everyone else. So what is our number? What are we looking for?
I haven't really thought about a goal. I would love I don't know. I think I would really love to maybe double what we have now. So about 400 t-shirts. That would be really cool. Like you said, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm happy with whatever we can get because I understand that this time too is a struggle for a lot of people. So, but in anything anyone can give. And I mean, my brother lives out in Arizona and he just did something really awesome in Arizona, but he posted my post and he tagged so many people and kind of put them on the spot like, here you go, here's my sister, look at this post. This is happening over in Buffalo, and I've had orders come in from the state of Washington, from Dallas, Texas, from Chicago, and I know I'm a former Buffalonian. I love this. Keep my money. I don't need a T-shirt. Donate the T-shirt to a family. So I had a lot of support. Like you said, it's like the smallest, biggest city in the world. Like really, people have come together from all over. So any donation, any T-shirt I sell is a success in my book. But if I were to set a goal, I would say I'd love it to double it right now. We're
All
we're
right.
about a week in, so I'd love to double that.
I not only think that we could double it, I think with the type of people that are going to watch this, we'll reach at least 500. I guarantee you. Okay.
Awesome.
So, to all my people that are watching this right now, buy a t-shirt, buy one for your kids, buy one for your staff that have been, kind of helping you, because a portion of these proceeds will go right to families that need it in our community. All right, guys. So, you've got, it'll be a week really to get these orders in there, and let's make a difference. Let's help these families that have uncertainty right now, because you know what, I think we all have agreed, and a huge percentage of our people that have thought that, I thought I needed all of this, pre coronavirus crisis. And I thought that was like important. But now I've realized, wow, like I'm actually okay with what I have, and I'm all right with where I'm at, and this new appreciation and gratitude of the very littlest things, like our health, for instance, has, I think, really set a lot of people straight in these, like, rat race type of schedules that we've lived in. I'm one of them. I'm bouncing around constantly. So for those who have the abilities to support, please help our girl out. Spread it, share it. The forum that, we're going to have a link that'll have a link right to the 716 Rainbow Hunt Facebook page. In the Facebook page is a link to the Google Sheets form. And where again is that, Juliana?
If you just go to the 716 Rainbow Hunt Facebook group, there should be a section it's the About section. And if you click on that, you'll see a short description of what the group is intended for. And right below that, you'll see a link to the Google form, which is an order form for your t-shirt. You can also find the same link if you click the announcements button. You can go then right to the post that I created to help spread the message, and you can see kind of, basically in a nutshell what I've talked about this whole time. So you can see a small little description of what I'm doing, some pictures of the t-shirts as well as the original design, and you can also get the Google form from there too.
Okay. So I will make sure that, I have a link to the Facebook page and a direct link to the Google Sheets, to the form. And then at that point, let's get these orders in, guys. Let's order as many as we can to, help out our families right here in Western New York. So thank you so much for being on my podcast today, for sharing your story. What's next? So let's say, we meet our goal, and let's say we meet your goal, and then maybe we meet my goal of 500.
Yeah, awesome.
What do you think's next for you? What is one thing, what's a lesson that you'll take away from, this current health crisis that you'll move forever in your life?
I think the one thing that I would probably take away from it is that something that I've been told my whole life from my parents is you never know what someone is going through. And you also never know, what you do and how small of an action you can do to help somebody else that really needs it. So in knowing that there's so many people going through so much, tragedy right now, and everyone's going through so much heartache and just wanting to be together again, and just knowing it, I hope that I can, take this as a lesson later on in life that, like you had said before, that just something that a small action can do, and what the effect that it can really have on someone. And I hope that, I can say that. I mean, I know I can say that Buffalo, like you said before, I'll say it again, but Buffalo is one of the greatest cities. And it really has shown to me that in a time like this, everyone from Buffalo can really come together and make a huge impact, because you already have. And people do it on a day-to-day basis. So I'll never forget this. I'm so happy to be doing something like this. And I hope that what I do really does help a lot of people in need.
Well, kudos to the parents, for raising you right and instilling that sense of selflessness. And thank you so much for taking that leap of faith when somebody said to put it on a shirt, for getting your family involved through your dad and his friend and your sisters, and everybody, that all the superintendents and the staff of these school districts that really embrace your idea. And I want to thank all of our viewers for, also embracing this and buying t-shirts. So thank you again. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to maybe check in with you and see what the total was at the end of the day. How's that?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
All right. So
Awesome.
thank you again for coming and sharing your story. We'll give everybody like an update on the total number sold because I think we all are a little competitive at some point.
Yeah.
And maybe when we get that number, another way to circle back is, to have everybody wear their t-shirts and, we get like everybody on a call or something and get like a big picture of all those people wearing their shirts. So
Oh, that's great. I love that. I love
yeah, maybe that's next, and
Okay.
posting instead of posting the rainbow pictures on the page, you get everybody posting a picture of themselves in their shirt that they got from you to
Sure.
help these families. So
Sure.
we'll look forward to that. Thank you again, and we'll be talking to you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thanks.